Hi, and welcome to Vlogtober day 19. Today I am in a forest, which is a weird location for a video, but I love this forest and I figured it would be good for the subject matter, because today we're going to be talking about my slight hiatus from social media that I did a couple of days ago. As you might have seen on Twitter, not plugging my Twitter or anything, but it'll be on the screen and in the down bar. Anyway, I took a few days off social media, during which I sort of vlogged my experiences without social media, and I made a few vlogs of that. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at those, and then after that I'm going to go through the things that I've learned during my social media break. For starters, I will tell you the rules of this challenge that I set for myself. The first one was no social media platforms, and among those I included Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter and Facebook. I probably left something out, but those are the ones that I know I spend time on, sometimes significantly, sometimes not as much, but mostly too much. I didn't include direct messengers such as WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, simply because I wanted to be able to stay in touch with people, because it was a social media break, but not necessarily a social break, if that makes sense. And I was going to do it until Saturday night, 12 p.m. a.m., midnight Saturday. So let's see how that went. Hi, and welcome to Vlogtober. Today, and for a couple of days actually, I'll be sort of keeping up a video diary of me going without social media. And I've made up a few rules for this thing that I'm doing, and the first one is no Twitter, no Facebook, no Snapchat. I think that's it. Don't use no Instagram. And the second one is that I am allowed to use direct messenger stuff such as Facebook chat and WhatsApp, but I'm not allowed to check those like more than once an hour. So that's the rules for this challenge, and the reason I took direct messages out is because it might be useful to keep in touch with people, not just for fun, but also for jobs and the like, basically. Yesterday was my first day of doing this, and I initially proposed for myself to do this all of yesterday and a bit of the evening before that, which was Thursday, and the whole of today. But it's going so well that I think I might push it on until the end of the weekend, because I think it's probably good for me. So I'm just gonna stick to it for now. So far I haven't even had time to miss social media that much, because yesterday I worked from 8 to 5, and then I was so tired that I couldn't do anything but eat and watch TV and nap. So it wasn't really that much of a bother. The only thing I did notice is that whenever I have a break, I usually just first check in on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or all of the above, and now I couldn't, and that was like a bit of a switch. And at some point I actually looked at the weather just because I wanted to click something. But other than that, I haven't really missed it that much. I think it's quite calming not to be busy with it all the time. Yeah, I quite enjoy this. But we'll see how it goes tonight, because tonight I'm home alone, so it might get a bit boring, but we'll see. Hi, it is no social media day 3. I decided to prolong the whole thing for another day, and I do notice how hard it is not to reach for those buttons. I also noticed it's sometimes quite inconvenient not to be able to use Facebook, for example, because Facebook actually has its like useful sides. So that's the lesson here. Other than that, I haven't really had that much struggle. I've had a lot of thoughts that I would have otherwise turned into tweets. But I think that's about it. And someone sent me a Snapchat and I'm itching to open it. But I'm definitely ending my fast today. So by the end of the day, I'll know what she sent me. Okay, let's get into that last day. Okay, so on Sunday afternoon, I think around 6 p.m, I broke my social media fast. I wrote down a few lessons that I learned from it, and I'm gonna share those with you now. First lesson, Facebook can easily suck you in and make you scroll for hours without actually seeing anything that is important or of interest, but it can also be a very useful tool. And by this I mean, for example, I got a friend request, I think 1 or 2 friend requests in the time that I wasn't looking on Facebook. And Facebook is quite useful for staying in touch with people that you don't necessarily know that well, that you have their phone number and everything, but you do want to keep in touch with them and also see what they're up to. So for that it's really good, but it's also really easy. What happened to me a lot before the social media break, and what's still happening to me a bit now, but far less, is that you will start your morning looking at your phone, looking on Facebook, and for starters having useless notifications. For example, this person posted something in this group that you're part of but never look in. Sometimes not even your friends, so really irrelevant stuff. Plus, before I would actually look at those notifications, because they wouldn't load immediately, I would always be spending way too long just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through my timeline, seeing ridiculous videos, sometimes nice, but mostly ridiculous videos, that did not make me any better in any way, shape or form. So really I didn't need those in my life. So basically Facebook has a good and a bad. The second one is a really short one, and that I don't really use Snapchat. It's not my kind of platform. Like, if people will send me snaps, I will happily reply to them, but I'm not the kind of person to make a story, because mostly I feel like, who cares? So that's not really my thing. I used to really read all those stories, like the big stories by People and Cosmopolitan, but I found those really just sucked me in, and at some point I knew everything about the Kardashians, which is really not something I set out to know in my life, so it's not really getting me anywhere, and I've stopped doing that before the social media fast, actually, so I'm very proud of that. But yeah, it's not really bringing me anything, and it's not really for me. So that was something I already kind of knew, but I learned more about it, sort of, I guess, during this fast. Okay, the third one is a bit of a harsh one for myself, but kind of true. If you don't have notifications from direct messenger platforms, you probably don't have direct messages and no one wants to talk to you, or you haven't spoken to anyone in a while. I'm going to leave it up to you whether that's your fault or other people's fault, but if you don't have notifications, you probably don't have messages, so there's no use checking it, because they're not going to magically appear once you click on that button. It's only going to suck you in, and yeah, it's not really going to do anything for you, so might as well not. But that was the last mostly negative lesson, because the last 2 were, in my opinion, are sort of positive, because by this fast I also learned to see the value of certain platforms for me. For example, I learned that I have a lot of thoughts that are not always as useful as some others might be. And it's nice to have a place to spew those, so I really appreciate the fact that I have a Twitter account that I can just blab on for no apparent reason. And I really enjoy Twitter. And along that same line, which is especially true now that I'm here, is that life is very, very Instagrammable. Like, the fact that I couldn't post photos just when I was seeing all the pretty stuff around me was very frustrating, but I guess it might have actually highlighted to me more how beautiful the world around you can be. To be fair, I sort of looked for it now, but in general, the world around you has such tiny little pretty details, and it makes me very happy, and I'm glad I get to share those on my Instagram, which will also be linked down below. I think that was all I had to say on the topic. This forest is very quiet, so I think I should probably move out of it. I mean, tiny little update on Vlogtober. There's a lot of stuff happening in my personal life, in my family life. So I decided that at least for now, I will be doing as much as I can, but mostly every other day vlogs, because that's just easier for me to maintain with work and family stuff and sleep. So you can expect at least every other day, but hopefully more, and maybe sometimes less, depending on the situation. But anyway, I will see you again, not tomorrow, but the day after. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Today I'm going to be taking you around with me, and we're going to do a couple of things.